This is the Sons of UCF, the number one place for UCF sports, with your distinguished host, Adam.
What was your reaction when you got notified that you were going to be a Hall of Famer? How does that sound to you, Coach O'Leary, Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I'm in a number of inducted into a number of Hall of Fame.
And Mike.
I don't know if you know this, but I won the 5K race that we did a couple weeks ago.
Now, here are the guys.
All right, the holiday edition of the Sons of UCF. I'm Adam, and as always, my friend and yours, back for the 161st time, UCF Mike. Mike, happy holidays to you, my friend. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. I haven't felt this good in a long time. So I'm happy to be here. I'm ready. This is a big week, big game. Usually bowl games don't really mean much if they're not the New Year's Six games or playoff games, but this one does have some meaning to it. It's got a little juice, and I'm ready to go. I can't wait for Thursday.
I like when Mike's got the juice, and we'll bring the juice for you all show here on episode 161. Before we do all that, though, make sure you're doing us a favor. Subscribe, rate, review. Find us wherever you do social media stuff at Sons of UCF. Mike is at UCF Mike1. Trace is at SignPez. You can follow along our website, twonightsmedia.com. Our YouTube channel, also Sons of UCF. A lot of exclusive video content still floating around out there, Mike. In this episode, Cow of the Week, of course. We'll update the bowl pick'em. Many of you got in. There's a cool prize. And so far early on, we have a few people distancing themselves. We'll see if that holds up. We got it's a holiday edition, Mike. So you and I will hand out some Christmas gifts. As always, we're very generous with our shopping, and we've got some nice gifts for some UCF folks. But before we do all that, Mike, obviously a batch of headlines, not the least of which is the fact that UCF and Florida play in just 3 days now on Thursday, Mike. But first headline out of the gate, we learn on Monday afternoonish, word breaks, co-offensive coordinator G.J. Kinney is going to be leaving to become the head coach at some place called Incarnate Word, which is in Texas, where G.J. is from. And he will stay with UCF for the bowl game on Thursday. But afterwards, Incarnate Word is his destination, Mike. It's tough to understand this question. I'll ask it anyway. How big a loss is G.J. Kinney?
Word. I don't know how big of a loss it is. This was his first year, I believe, ever as an offensive coordinator, right? And as we all know, Gus is calling the plays. So it's one of those where he's got that title of offensive coordinator. I don't know how much control of the offense he actually had. So overall, I don't think it's a huge loss. And also, remember, Gus was putting his staff together last minute last year. Maybe he wouldn't even have been his first selection as offensive coordinator. But with the timeline he had to work with, he put the staff together that he could. Maybe this time around you'll see somebody he's more familiar with, has more of a relationship with. But, I think he did an okay job for whatever he was doing. The offense, we all know the issues with the offense, and it was the injuries. So it looked great at the start and slowed down here at the end with the freshman quarterback. But he seemed like a good guy. We hardly got to know him. So, good luck to him. He's got a chance to be a head coach somewhere. If you get that opportunity, you take it.
Yeah, I guess this one caught people off guard because it wasn't really, I guess, who's tracking the Incarnate Word head coaching opening. So it caught people off guard, Mike. And obviously, here's the thing. When you go work for Gus Malzahn, he was pretty clear, 4 minutes into his opening press conference, that he was going to call plays. And he was going to call plays for, quote, the rest of his career. So when you come to work for Gus as the offensive coordinator, you kind of know where your lot is cast. And so I guess it's not terribly surprising to say, hey, he wants to move on and do something else. Because you're right, we don't know what kind of play caller he is. I mean, he was also the quarterback's coach, so he was responsible for working with Dylan Gabriel for the brief time that he played, and obviously for Mikey Keene's development, which got a little bit better down the road. So he moves on, which then has a huge opening on the staff, Mike. Obviously, there's a lot of different name options out there. Probably the most common that you hear is former UCF quarterback, former Kentucky offensive coordinator Darren Hinshaw, who has been on the staff this year as an analyst. Obviously, he has experience. So that's a name you can think about, Mike. Where do you want to see UCF go for their next offensive coordinator? Does it really even matter? I guess, what do you think Gus should do with this now vacant role?
Does it matter is one question. I mean, as an offensive coordinator, your main job is to call the plays. That's not happening here. So really what he needs is somebody that's on the same page with him with the game planning, and coming up with ideas during the week for the offense and working with the quarterbacks. Hinshaw makes plenty of sense. He's already here. And when Gus was first hired, a lot of people thought maybe Hinshaw had a chance to get the offensive coordinator job then. Hinshaw wanted the head coaching job. I know that for a fact because I talked to him when this whole search was going on, and he wanted the job. So he's happy to be here, and I'm sure he'd take the step up if offered to him. Like I said, it makes plenty of sense. He's got the experience in the SEC. He was an offensive coordinator for Kentucky. So he loves UCF. He's a UCF lifer. He wants to stay here. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes the most sense. Now, the only thing is, does Gus already have somebody else in mind? Like I was mentioning before, does he have a couple of the guys maybe that are looking for jobs now, maybe that were on staffs that just switched around at these other schools, and he has relationships with some of these guys?
Yeah.
That would be the first thing you'd think of. Otherwise, if you're going to stay in-house, Hinshaw makes plenty of sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, to your point, he's got experience at the coordinator level, particularly in the SEC. I don't know how familiar him and Gus were with each other prior to his 1 year here at UCF. And what you don't know is behind the scenes, as an analyst, you're not really coaching the players. You're more help designing the game plan. So, I mean, Gus got a free year to understand how he thinks, what kind of offensive system that he, is comfortable with, different ideas and play calls. So I guess we'll get an understanding pretty quickly if those two master or gelled. Obviously, an analyst role is I don't want to say a step down from a coordinator role, but it's a step down from the coordinator role. So you would think that if Hinshaw wants a chance to get back into the game, this would be a chance he lobbies for, Mike. And that opens an analyst spot if that happens, right? So if that happens to take shape and we go with Hinshaw on a promotion, analyst spot opens up, Mike. And then a lot of craziness happens because an analyst job, obviously, again, it's on the rung of coaches. While Alabama is paying analysts like six figures because they can do that, typically you're not making a ton as an analyst. It's kind of an entry level type of thing in some respects. I mean, I guess different programs might use it differently. I guess in our construct, it's probably that. So there are a lot of names being thrown about, Mike, and there's one pretty famous one people keep talking about. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Ryan Schneider.
Ryan Schneider it is. Welcome to the team, Ryan Schneider.
Mackenzie Milton, obviously, as everybody's talking about him. It's been known that he wants to be a coach one day. Everybody wants to have him back at UCF one day. Fans are jumping at this right away. That's the first thing they're saying. If it happens, great, but I'm not saying it has to happen. I won't be going crazy. Like I think some people will be if this doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so the McKenzie stuff, for those, we'll catch up quickly on that. For those who don't know, he did a couple things this past week. He has a cameo appearance that was posted on the message boards that said, basically he'll be moving back to Orlando and he's going to be staying around. He was pretty vague with that. Then he was interviewed by Matt Mearshell, the Orlando Sentinel, where he talked a little bit about his love for UCF and how much he admired everything and coaching as an opportunity as well. So as they often say, that there seems to be some smoke here. Obviously, McKenzie spent basically 2 years as a grad assistant. I'm not sure if that's what you even call him, working with Dylan and with Josh Heupel on the bench. Then obviously spent a season with Norvell where he helped to mentor that young QB room. So that's kind of the references that McKenzie seems to be indicating that he wants to get back into coaching. But we had Jason Beatty on the show 2 weeks ago now, and Jason said, "Hey, pump the brakes. You don't play in the Hula Bowl unless you think maybe you have a chance to do something professionally." So maybe McKenzie doesn't even want to start coaching yet. Maybe he wants to try to pursue playing stills, if that's in Canada, if that's in the Arena League, if that's in one of these spring leagues. So I guess you never know, Mike, but I mean, at least all signs are pointing to McKenzie trying to get himself or continuing to keep himself around the UCF program and around Orlando.
Yeah, that's still the kid's dream. You don't give up on that until you have to. He has his whole life ahead of him to coach. What is he, 22, 23 years old?
He's like 26 now at this point.
He's got plenty of time to coach. He can have a 50-year career coaching, even if he doesn't start for another couple of years. So if he's still serious about playing and that's what he wants to do, even if it's not the NFL, you mentioned there's a whole bunch of leagues. Isn't there a new one starting up again this year?
Yeah, I think XFL is back this year, or the USFL, one of them's back.
There's so many places to go. I mean, some of these leagues do fall apart within a few weeks. We've seen that happen too.
That's true.
So, but if he's got somewhere that wants to pay him to play football, he could be a draw. I think we're going to see a good number at the Hula Bowl. The UCF fans are going to show up. So he's a popular player nationwide. He's got a name to him. If he wants to do it, then I'm all for that. everybody is in such a rush to have him coach here right away. So yes, I'd love to see him, but I think he'd be better served just, continuing to learn different offenses, go around, get some experience everywhere, and then when he comes back to UCF, come back here to be the main guy, I think, one day. I think that's the long-term goal.
Yeah, that's what gets tricky. I don't want to be that guy, but, returning to coach your alma mater doesn't always end well, right? Because at some point in time, if things aren't going well, then tough decisions have to be made. And if you need examples of that, we saw Josh Heupel get axed at Oklahoma. Scott Frost is not exactly loving life in Lincoln. And again, obviously those are different levels of positions, but if Mackenzie starts off and the quarterbacks are terrible next year, or he's an offensive coordinator in 3 years and, we're averaging, 6 points a game, it gets kind of awkward. So, while I would love to have him around UCF in some capacity, I think it's got to be the right situation for him and for UCF. I wouldn't want us to force something and then neither party's happy and then it turns into sort of bad blood. And then you kind of get the Heupel thing where, you need a scapegoat and, you're going to get rid of the prodigal son. And, Mackenzie is it for UCF, right? He's probably a little bit ahead of Dante in terms of that respect, right? So I guess it's just got to be the right fit. I don't want to rush into it and make him a coach if it's something he's not completely ready for and something that maybe UCF isn't completely ready for him to do.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out like Frank Beamer, who's an alumnus of Virginia Tech and then goes and coaches there for 20 years. It doesn't always happen that way. Spurrier even was a Heisman Trophy winner at Florida, had a lot of success there, but then left them for an in-conference team in South Carolina. How would Knight fans feel about that if Mackenzie came over here, coached, and then left?
Well, don't forget, Spurrier started his coaching career, I think, at Duke, so he didn't even start coaching specifically at Florida.
Right. But after how successful he left for the Redskins.
Yeah.
Clear myself. And then he came back to another team in the conference. But Mackenzie, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to be here in Orlando, whether it's this year. And what's best for him right now probably is to make some money. If he's going to go coaching somewhere, go to a place that's going to pay you and then build up your resume. And there's going to be plenty of time to come back.
I saw somebody tweet, I don't know who it was, I should have looked it up, that maybe they should hire Mackenzie back as the director of NIL. And his mom actually responded back and said something like, "No, that's an idea," or something along those lines. So maybe there's a unique role that Mackenzie can play where he can support the program, support the kids, and still play some bit of a role in it. I don't know what kind of job title that is, what kind of pay range that is, but obviously Mackenzie was one of those guys who trailblazed the NIL stuff with what he did with Dreamfield. So maybe there's something to be had there to have him kind of your ambassador, your associate athletic director of NIL partnerships or something. And, maybe that's an avenue. I don't really know, Mike. But either way, some openings from that standpoint. The only other thing about Kinney that you got to kind of wonder about is obviously recruiting. He went out recruiting. He was one of those guys who was out in living rooms. We just saw that he was playing a hearty round of Madden probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago with Thomas Castellanos. And Castellanos has finally responded on Twitter with a non-emotionless emoji face. So I don't know what that means. I can't speak emoji. Any concern, Mike, in terms of the guys that Kinney recruited? And obviously some of these kids signed letters. There's always ways out of that. Do you think there's any blowback from Castellanos or anybody else who may have signed to play for Kinney and now he ain't there no more?
Well, you would be scared that they would go somewhere else that was recruiting them, not necessarily follow Kinney to Incarnate Word. I don't think any of our players are following him there. But I find it hard to believe any of these kids that decided to come here had G.J. Kinney as the main reason.
Sure.
Right? Maybe he's a factor. Maybe he's on the list somewhere. But you got to think, the school itself. Then you think the head coach Malzahn, and then the opportunity to get playing time and the NIL and all that stuff. And then, the quarterback coach was a cool guy. They factored that in. I don't think people are really going to – I don't think we're going to see anybody decommit now and go somewhere else and cite that G.J. Kinney is the reason.
Yeah, if anything, and really the thing I would assume here is that he was the guy that Castellanos was closest to, right? Maybe the guy he talked to the most and, who spent the most time with. Not that he didn't spend time with Gus or other people, but probably the guy you have the closest relationship with there is now gone. So, but I believe he officially signed his letter of intent. So while I don't want to be this guy, in theory, he's locked in for at least another year, whether he plays or not, unless UCF wants to let him out. So hopefully all fences can be mended there. But the first kind of turnover from a coaching staff standpoint, it's funny, Mike, we had thought maybe Tim Ice Harris would get a look over at FIU if we had any coaching turnover. I don't think any of us had G.J. Kinney on the coaching turnover bingo board. So we'll see if there's any other fallout after the bowl game. I guess in theory, Kinney could try to take somebody with him to Incarnate Word. I mean, I don't know that he's, enticing some of those guys. I don't know what that pay range looks like there. Maybe he's got an analyst or a grad assistant that he can take with him, Mike. But our first coaching staff turnover under the Malzahn era is G.J. Kinney. From a player standpoint, we've seen plenty of turnover. And, Mike, the sky just might be falling because if you read social media, if you read what's going on out there, here's the new theory is nobody wants to be at this place. And that is because a slew of quarterbacks have potentially been rumored to have UCF interest, whether that's just rumor or that's actually true. And unfortunately, none of those guys have signed here. Last week, you and I talked about Michael Penix Jr. Well, he now plays for the Washington Huskies. We talked about Adrian Martinez. Well, he's now at Kansas State. And we assumed all was well with Bo Nix. And now, Mike, he is at Oregon. So nobody from the transfer portal quarterback spot has landed at UCF, Mike. How concerned are you?
Well, the Bo Nix one is the one that I think hurt some people here. The Penix we discussed, he's been often injured. We weren't sure what we were getting with him. Adrian Martinez, a lot of us, I think, have seen some Nebraska football the last couple of years, and not too many people were impressed with him. Yes, he's an athlete, but he didn't look great like as a quarterback. The Bo Nix one was the one we got our hopes up for last week. Everybody thought it was a perfect marriage, him and Gus reunited, and it doesn't seem to work that way. There are more factors in this nowadays than there used to be. Obviously, the NIL thing plays a factor. Oregon's got a boatload of money up there with Nike and all that stuff. Who knows? There's probably a deal for him up there. Am I devastated by it? No. Mikey has performed well, and if he has a very good bowl game against Florida, he'll come back as the number one quarterback heading into spring camp. And Castellanos looks like a nice player of the future, so I think we'll be okay. I'm sure there's still going to be somebody else they're going to bring in at some point, and whether it's obviously not one of these top 3-4 guys, but there's plenty of other quarterbacks. How many other quarterbacks are left in the portal? Like 45?
Like 7 billion.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. Well,
they'll find somebody.
Yeah, the new names out there now. So Texas quarterback Casey Thompson has entered the portal. He's played there for a bit. He's had some good numbers, but he, I think, is getting squeezed out when they signed Quinn Ewers, who came from Ohio State. Incarnate Word makes its second appearance on the podcast. Who knew? Cameron Ward was their quarterback last year. Again, he's at sort of the FCS level. He was rumored to be with Ole Miss. I think he even visited there. He's still available. And then, an interesting plot twist, Mike. Emory Jones, the quarterback for the Florida Gators, the same quarterback who will play against us on Thursday. He is, I guess he's officially not in the portal, although he seems to be telling a lot of people he's going to be in the portal. And then if you heard Gus Malzahn's press conference today, he made sure to tell everybody that, I know Emory Jones. Yeah, I know him really well. I recruited him out of high school. He was 15 minutes away from us. Yeah, good player, great arm, great legs, brings a lot to the table, blah, 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 blah. Gus was certainly made sure to mention a few more details about Emory Jones, and I feel like he mentions about others, Mike. So those are now, I guess, the top 3 names. There's obviously guys all over the place who are hopping in the portal here and there. Some guys you know, some guys you don't. Is UCF Mike excited about Casey Thompson, Cameron Ward, and or Emory Jones?
I gotta tell you, the first 2 guys I've never seen play before.
Sure.
Obviously, one's at Incarnate Word. The games on TV, I don't know. The Texas quarterback, I haven't watched much of Texas either. Emory Jones is interesting. The guy is an athlete. He had trouble, I guess, reading defense or something this year, because every time I saw him, he was throwing interceptions. Maybe that's something that can change different coaching staffs, different game plans, different playbooks. I don't know. But we're going to get a good look at him on Thursday night. And if he goes in there and he lights up our defense, I think a lot of people will be happy to take him next season. If we go in there, we make him look silly, I'm sure there's probably other options available to us. Maybe there could be a kid in the portal next week that's not even in there right now.
Yeah.
So who the heck really knows?
Yeah.
But Jones is interesting. The fact that he's playing after already saying he's entering the portal is pretty interesting. How his teammates feel about that, I don't know. So maybe the offensive line will let a couple guys in.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he wants to throw us a pick six to seal the deal to come to UCF, I mean, I think we'd all let that one slide. Cameron Ward's interesting, Mike. I looked up his stats. It's a big dude, 6'3", 220. I mean, he's a big guy. He threw for 6,200 yards, maybe, if I have that right, last season. 4,600. 62 would be fantastic. 4,600 yards this past season. So he's got some skill set. But again, Incarnate Word, I don't know the competition he was playing against. Casey Thompson's a kid. I think he actually had UCF on his top 3 when he was coming out of high school. This was under the Frost regime. But obviously decides to go to Texas. 6'1", 200. He played a bunch this year. So those are some interesting names. But I guess everyone freaked out over Bo Nix, right? And then became, well, we can't close. We can't get anybody here. 2 offensive linemen that UCF was targeting. I think one went to Georgia Tech and one went to Texas Tech, I think. So it's been a bit of a strikeout in the transfer portal, Mike, and that's where Gus was very clear in his presser a few weeks ago that he was going to be an attractive transfer destination. Are you freaking out that we have not been able to really close in on any really good transfer portal guys?
I'm not freaking out. And I believe we just signed a offensive lineman that was All-American. Yeah, in the FCS, but on was it Jacksonville State team that beat Florida State this year? Which
is not in Jacksonville, yes.
So I'm not freaking out. There's plenty of time for this portal to sort itself out. I mean, how many times have we seen guys transfer in late and have a huge impact? Mike Hughes, I believe, didn't actually get on the roster until about a week before the season started, and we know what kind of impact he had on our team that year. So a long way to go. We still got a game to go in this season. And then you get the coaching staff really out there on the recruiting trail next month and close something out with February signing day. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the transfer portal is a new era. You said this earlier. NIL stuff is getting all kinds of in the way. So you don't know what people's thought process is, if they're trying to find a place where they can play right away, a place where they can go and maybe win a championship, or a place where they have a chance to capitalize on some NIL money. So priorities have shifted from just a year ago. The portal this time last year was a way different experience than it is this year. And I will say, even though, sure, Bo Nix would have been the sexy name, right? And Adrian Martinez would have been a sexy name. There's no guarantee those guys will work out, right? And if you have any questions about that, see Brandon, Winbush, right? Because that did not work out very well. But if you have any questions about what may or may not work out, we were not jumping up and down over Brandon Johnson last year from Tennessee. And he turned out to be one hell of a receiver in the year that he spent with us at UCF. So, yes, you just never know with some of these guys. And I understand the sky is falling mentality, because we keep thinking that, we're going to be the future of college football and Gus is going to reel these guys in. And then one by one, they're going other places. I don't know if that's a full-on referendum yet on Gus and UCF. I think I'd pump the brakes on that. But to your point, it certainly is, you want to start feeling some momentum that we're getting a couple of these guys, because Gus said this today, Mike. This was actually shocking. Not shocking. I guess I kind of knew it but didn't really realize it. He said in his press conference on Monday at the Gasparilla Bowl that we do not have 27 guys that we had when we started the season. And that's either due to transfer portal stuff, which I think is 11, and then injuries, which I guess is 16. So 27 guys who were on the team at the start of the season are not with us now. That's a really stark depth issue at some point that we're going to have to address. And, unfortunately, you're going to have to dip into the portal if you want to get some depth stuff, because if not, you're going to get a lot of unproven guys from high school. And I don't know if that's the way to go, Mike. So I would like to see us get a little bit of momentum, because we have to make up a 27-player deficit. I mean, we're going to need to find some guys who can play in a hurry.
That is a lot. That's a quarter of the roster, right? Basically, maybe even a little more.
Yeah.
First of all, the recruiting class that's coming in looks good. And Gus said the other day that a lot of those guys are going to be competing to start right away. Mm-hmm. And he called them, a lot of those guys have NFL potential. You heard his whole spiel. So I like what we're bringing in as freshmen. We're going to sprinkle in a couple transfers here and there. We're going to be okay. So 27 out of those, how many people were going to be gone at the end of this year anyway? like the seniors and
Yep, great
guys
question.
like that.
And that doesn't mean that some of those guys who are injured aren't coming back next season, right? So, in theory, that they're obviously, that's not a complete 27, but it obviously is even if half of that is true, that's still a lot of people.
Right. And the recruiting class, we're allowed to bring in 25. This team's going to be a little bit younger the next couple of years, but with better talent and more depth going forward, I believe, because of the recruits they're bringing in from high school.
Yeah, what did you think? I know you were not on our live show with us on Thursday. We didn't get a chance to get your comments. What did you think about the overall class? I mean, no surprises in this recruiting cycle. Really, Leighton Nelson, which you and I kind of figured out live on the show last week, deciding not to sign and ending up still out there. And then Maldonado turns out did not sign with UCF either. So really the two people who did not sign were offensive linemen, although to your point, we then picked up a sort of a transfer from Jacksonville State offensive lineman. So outside of that, no surprises. What were your overall impressions when the class finally got it finalized and you saw who was with us?
Yeah, I was happy. Pretty much everybody that was committed did sign, except for the couple that you mentioned. And then we got a couple surprises. The Townsend kid looks like a big pickup, a steal from Iowa, or it was Iowa State, right?
Yeah.
We got guys in some big skill positions with a quarterback and some running backs. Would have liked to see an extra receiver, though. Quan Lee looks like he may be the real deal. And the offensive line, that kid in Kittler, he seems like a great guy, man. I love the interviews you guys did last week. But they all look like they're ready to play right away. So that gives me hope. I like the class overall. I think we still got 10 spots to add to it. So It's not done yet.
Yeah, UCF's highest class, Caden Kittler, not lacking for confidence, by the way. He described himself as nasty and already noted himself as Matt Lee's backup. So, I mean, he's clearly not shy for confidence. I think the D-line, I would love to see more of that. We had Keanis Thompson and then Jamal Johnson, who are two recruits. I know we're losing a bunch on the D-line. Feels like we're really loaded in the secondary, Mike. I mean, we loaded up on the Henderson twins, Nakai Martinez, plus the secondary was pretty young to begin with last season. So we should definitely have a lot of talent on that secondary side of the ball. I agree with you on receiver. I think we got Jalen Griffin is the kid's name out of Georgia. He may be an athlete, though. It's hard to say. Townsend, I think, can play some receiver, so it's interesting where he will end up. And obviously Quan Lee, who is a 4-star recruit in some rankings, comes in. So would have liked to have seen the receiving core maybe get one more guy. But again, to your point, Gus still has some time to figure that out. But all in all, the highest recruiting class ever at UCF. Mike, are you excited? I know you're big on the recruiting rankings. You're a guy who follows that stuff closely. I know you live and die by it. The highest ranked recruiting class by statistical measure at UCF so far. You must be pumped up.
Well, the last highest recruiting class we had was, I think, was 2011. So you figure those guys, that was the year after Bortles and Godfrey in that class.
Yeah.
So and the reason that ranking was so high is because of one guy that actually never ended up playing at UCF.
Yes.
So that just shows you what you can do with these rankings. We'll let you guys know in a few years how this class turned out.
Check
like
back in
letting you know
episode 310. Check back in episode 310. We will we'll cover that. Here's the thing I like the most, Mike. And to your point, I have no idea if any of these guys are good. They look good on film. They look good playing against like sophomores in high school. I have no idea if they're any good. And what I do like is that Gus clearly was able to get a lot of kids from the greater Central Florida area to stay right here and go to UCF. And when we talked at the beginning of the year, we kept saying, if Gus can find a way to keep those kids who are in that 3-4 star range from leaking out of Florida and heading to Rutgers and Pittsburgh and Virginia and NC State and all these other schools, if we can just keep those kids home, at some point in time we'll make that switch. And that's, at least this first class for me, that's the hallmark. Now, whether these kids are good, I have no idea. But he definitely said he wanted to recruit like his hair's on fire, particularly in the Central Florida area. And he kept a lot of those kids home, Mike. He put that fence around the state of Orlando, as he called it. And I think that's a huge win overall. Hopefully they pan out on the field. But I think it's a dub just off the bat because he was able to keep those kids at home.
And it was some of the best kids in the
Yes.
city of Orlando in this area. The Damari and Jakari Henderson, Nakai Martinez, the guys that are from around here are good guys, really good. So that's the way Miami built their program back in the 80s.
Yep.
The state of Miami, and we know that the talent that's down here in Broward and Dade and Palm Beach. But there's pretty good talent up there around I-4 too. And if Gus can seal that off, now that we're going to have that recruiting advantage on the Cows, no longer being in the same conference, I think we'll be able to steal a lot more Tampa kids now that want to play in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So, that he's doing what he said he came here to do, recruit like his hair is on fire. And he did a good job, best class ever at UCF in his first season.
What did you make of, obviously we didn't land him, so I don't want to call this a win, but UCF was in the Curtis Perry sweepstakes right up until he picked the hat off the table, which, I mean, again, he's a 4-star, 5-star kid. He ended up going home or staying home in Alabama. So we don't win that one outright, but we were in it at the finals, which, again, we're not always in those. Even though we didn't win, did you take that as a moral victory? I know there's no moral victories, but maybe that's a moral victory?
No, it's not a moral victory. What it is maybe a relationship victory between Gus and Curtis Perry. So if he does feel like transferring in a year or two, we may be the top destination for him then. But I was excited to think that we were going to get him because he sounds like a fantastic player. I actually tuned in. I must have seen it right when somebody posted this. He's about to make his announcement. I opened the video and I watched him do it. I was hopeful, but I wasn't expecting it. And then when he picked Alabama, you figured anybody from Alabama growing up in SEC country has a chance to play for Nick Saban, they're going to take it. It's going to be very hard to steal any of those kids.
Yeah.
So good luck to him. Maybe we'll see him down here in Orlando in a couple of years. But no, it's not a moral victory for me, no.
All right, Mike is unvictorious. Other news from Malzahn's press conference on Monday at the Gasparilla Bowl. Mike, he was asked, what about Jalen Robinson? Is he going to play? Here is his exact quote. We'll see. We'll see where that thing goes. That didn't sound good. I saw a picture. I'm pretty sure I saw Jalen Robinson's hair in the photograph in the ballroom where UCF was doing some meeting of some sort. It looked like his hair, but you couldn't see his face. So I think he's there, Mike. Is this a Dylan Gabriel really transferred situation? Is this a guy still coming off an injury situation? Is this a guy who maybe wants to sit out because he doesn't want to get hurt situation? What do you make of Gus's 5 wheels and then ends? We'll see where that thing goes.
Maybe he was surprised by the question because I hadn't heard that Robinson wasn't going to play. He came back for the last couple of weeks of the season. We know that he suffered an injury earlier this year. It's interesting. I would think if he's healthy, he's playing. You said that you've seen him in pictures in Tampa. He made the trip over. If he was going to transfer, why wouldn't he have just entered the portal? Everybody else has already entered the portal that's transferring.
Yeah.
Why come out and risk getting injured for UCF if you plan on playing somewhere else next year? So just come out and say it. Maybe there's something that we don't know what's going on. Maybe there's the injury is coming back and it's lingering a little bit and he doesn't feel 100%, and maybe that's the reason why he may not play.
Yeah, it was bad body language from Gus. He kind of looked dismissive of the question. It's eerily similar now when you look back at the questions about when Dylan's going to play. And, well, yeah, hope we get him back soon. Like, he was very noncommittal. To juxtapose that, he was asked about Isaiah Bowser, and the question was, what about Isaiah Bowser? And he said, Bowser's doing good. He'll play. I mean, so that's literally the second thing he said. So I don't know if you want to compare those two and say maybe something's up with Jay Flash, whether or not that means he's injured or doesn't want to play, or if he's got some transfer portal destinations. Who knows? Speaking of portal, Mike, again, you did not get a chance to opine on this news. We suspected it last week, but now it's official. Dylan Gabriel to UCLA. Your thoughts?
Good luck to him. I'm sure there's a big crowd out there that's willing to buy some air fresheners and socks and fanny packs.
Yep.
And, he's going to give him some good moments, too. He's a good player. He can throw the ball. We know that. It fits his style out there, I guess, with Chip Kelly. Is he still there? Or he's on the hot seat, right?
Chip Kelly's still there. No hot seat. He actually had a good year. But Chip Kelly runs the ball a lot. I mean, for all the, Oregon's got this fancy offense. I mean, they were the one who invented the zone read. I mean, that's really what Chip does. So for Dylan to say he wants to put up some stats and then go to his own read offense, unless Chip's willing to make some changes I don't know about, it is an interesting fit. But I hope those air fresheners, a lot of smog in LA. I don't know if those things get trapped in the air freshener. I don't know what the quality control testing we're doing at DG the brand, but they may have to look at that.
Yeah, but he's going to have plenty of chances to throw, I'm sure. That's the same offense that Scott Frost was running, and Mackenzie Milton was throwing a lot under it. And Heupel's offense is based on a lot of runs, too, to set up the passes. So, he's still, as long as he's able to take his deep shots, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think he'll do well out there. He'll probably start the season well. If you look at their schedule, they have a little soft schedule early on.
A little soft schedule. I think they're playing Incarnate Word twice, and then the other game is I don't even know, the Sisters of the Poor, and they've got nobody on there.
So don't be surprised early in the year next year you see Dylan Gabriel on College game day throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns a week and putting up some big numbers, because we know he's capable of doing it. He was doing it here, but he felt it's time to move on, and it's time to move on. One day we'll get the true story of what's really happening. There must be something with him and Gus. He didn't want him here when he first signed. Maybe that lingered all year. I think there's rumors saying that he blamed him for the injury. I don't know why that would happen. I mean, you had to put him in there for that last
Clearly,
play.
Gus hit him. I mean, obviously, hello.
So, what? Good luck to him. He did okay at his time here. He could have been something a lot more. If he would have came back and won a conference championship, had a season like we had in 2017 and 18, got into a New Year's Six game, got into a playoff game, he had all that here ahead of him where he could have done it in the next couple of years. And he chose to go somewhere else. And, that's it. It's over. The Dylan Gabriel era has ended.
Well, take this for no other reason than it's just what happened. After G.J. Kinney's announcement, Dylan retweeted that and basically said, so happy for my guy. Congratulations. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, family for life, that kind of thing. So clearly he's a fan of G.J. Kinney, whether that's, shade at Malzahn, whether that's kind of him trying to be over the top so that, people, kind of read between the lines. Maybe Kinney and Dylan were both displeased about certain things. Who the hell knows? So we'll only have time to ponder that, Mike. Quickly, I know this weekend an upsetting thing happened for you, and really for all of us, but for you specifically. The UCF Florida State basketball game got COVIDed down in Sunrise. The game was essentially canceled. There were rumors UCF would try to get another game in over the weekend. That did not materialize. Florida State obviously pulling out last minute with COVID issues in the program. Like a bummer. I don't think there's a reschedule here. I'm not sure why this isn't a win for UCF. I thought we were doing that forfeit thing. I guess not. But UCF Florida State canceled the day before the game. Like that one stings.
Man, that one really hurt. I was so pumped up to go to that game. I've been talking about it since when the schedule came out. Remember, I was the guy that told Malzahn. I'm sorry.
Breaking news: Gus Malzahn making basketball schedule.
I think I told Danny White at one point too.
You did.
But and then it was White.
Yep.
Before Mahajer.
Yep.
Where we should get into this tournament down here in the Orange Bowl Classic, and it's been a long time. I think it was 2010 was the only time we were in it. We should be in this thing every year down here with the fan base that's down here. But, man, I had some great seats in this thing. All you can eat, all you can drink, center court, 14 rows up. I was going to have a great time on Saturday. I was going to get there early, around 1:30 or whatever, second half of the first game, settle in, talk some trash to Gator and Cal fans. It was going to be a great time. And then you text me on Friday afternoon.
Oh, I broke that news too?
Canceled. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's a bummer.
That was bad.
That's a bummer.
And then I had to go check the internet, and it was confirmed. And then there was the wait there that, maybe they're going to find somebody else to play. And I'm like doing Mahajer's job for them. I'm looking up teams that are available. FIU's off on Saturday. They have a game Sunday at home, but they should be good. They're playing Bethune the next day. Or even Florida Gulf Coast had the day off on Saturday. They had a game Sunday, but these teams, I guess, don't want to play back-to-back. But it would have been cool if we could have filled it in that day. I mean, I even looked up the Orlando Magic because I think we could probably beat those guys too. And unfortunately, they were scheduled for that day.
Okay.
But and then there was word of maybe even playing Duke. Duke's game had gotten canceled. Hey, Coach K come down here in his last season. The relationship he has with Johnny Dawkins. Maybe they work something out. None of that happened. There was no game. I was upset about it. And hopefully next year they're scheduled to come back here again, because when that happens, I get really, I'm one of the first to look up tickets. I'm ready to go for that day because it's a fun afternoon.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Obviously, COVID got a lot of sporting events over the weekend. College basketball hit heavy. NFL moved a bunch of games. The NBA lost some games on the schedule. So far, nothing but knock on wood bowl game has been impacted, Mike. But obviously, everyone keep an eye and light a candle, say a prayer that we are able to get through that one pretty healthy. But UCF will take the court on Wednesday, so they're They're going to tempt fate, Mike. For some reason, they're going to be willing to go opposite our live show on Wednesday night. I don't know. Good luck to you guys in basketball because they're playing North Alabama. So North Alabama Wednesday night at 7 on the plus if you want to catch up with UCF basketball, who obviously did not get a chance to take the court this weekend, Mike, and that was a bummer. Obviously, one tune-up North Alabama, and then next week, Michigan at home. And that'll be a fun one on Thursday the 30th. So would have loved to have seen a nice tune-up here, Mike, to your point. It's unfortunate that did not take place. And those are the news and notes. I mean, that's really, and we haven't even gotten to the actual game that's actually playing on Thursday. And those are just the comings and goings, the happenings in and around UCF. Why don't you guys sit tight for a second? We'll play out a little commercial here. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about the game. And then Mike and I are in the holiday spirit. Don't go anywhere.
This is UCF Athletic Director Terry Mohajir, and in my spare time, when I'm not on TikTok, I'm listening to Adam and Mike on the Sons of UCF. Go Knights and charge on!
Let's not forget the game, Mike. There's a game, an actual game. A game is going to be played Thursday, 7 p.m. on ESPN. And obviously the Knights versus the Gators. Neither team really coming in, I guess, what I'd call full strength, right? Obviously, we talked about it in the first part of the show. UCF down 27 guys from the opening game. So who knows what that'll mean. And Florida, it's hard to keep track who's playing, who's not playing. We know a bunch of guys have already opted out. Some guys are playing. Some guys have opted out. Maybe you're in the portal, are still going to play. Who really knows, Mike? So first things first. Does the fact that this thing isn't a full rostered, full complement of players and coaches kind of game, does that bother you at all? Or do you just not give a crap because, hell, we're playing the Gators and let's win?
Yeah, in most years, if this was the case, it does take a lot of the edge off the game. And you say, what are we really learning from this? What players are even playing? And can you even have bragging rights because our team was missing half our guys? But I think for this one, you throw all that crap out the window. It's the Gators. We've been wanting to play these guys forever. We only had 2 shots at them. One of them was in their best season ever against one of the worst teams we've ever had. And then the 99 game where we were still independent back then. We're just starting our run in Division I. So now we feel like we have a shot against these guys. And I don't want to hear any excuses out of their mouths. When they say that they're missing their quarterbacks entering the transfer portal, our quarterback's already left through the transfer portal. He's sitting in LA right now. So, yeah, they have maybe a couple more starters that are not playing than we do. But, tough luck. That's the way it goes. You're supposed to have 4-star guys on the bench that could beat us. Go ahead. Let's see it.
All right. Well, we do have a quarterback playing, Mikey Keene. Obviously, we've seen him kind of grow and mature throughout the season. Never necessarily a stat stuffer from his playing time this year, Mike. We saw him look really bad against a Cincy team and an SMU team. We saw him look really good against a Temple team, and then we saw him just pretty much lead us to victory, although not spectacularly, over a couple other teams like a Tulane, ECU, and the Cows. Which Mikey Keene do you think we're going to get here? Are we going to get Temple Mikey Keene? Are we going to get, Tulane Mikey Keene? Or are we going to get Cincinnati Mikey Keene?
There's not a lot of great Mikey Keens to pick from. He did his job. Temple.
That was it. That's all I could do was Temple.
We won some games. He put up big numbers in that game. Normally not a lot of big numbers. But from what I've heard out of Gus he's turning it into his team now. This is Mikey Keene's team, not a Dylan Gabriel's, I don't know how many thousands of miles away.
About 3.
The team has put their confidence in Mikey now, and he's going to see what he can do with it. And this is a huge game for him. He doesn't have to throw 4 touchdowns in this game and put up crazy numbers. Bowser is going to be the star of this offense on this day. Mikey's just got to do enough to move the ball, put us in good situations, 3rd and shorts, and don't turn it over. That's it. That's his job. He needs to manage this game, similar to what he's been doing most of the year.
Yeah, I think Gus has got to let him make easy throws, nothing too complicated. Easy routes, find guys over the middle. If Alec Holler, can have his Temple game, right? He played really well in that game as well. Brandon Johnson, good possession receiver. creative, quick screens and other options to Ryan O'Keefe. If Jalen Robinson is going to play, you don't know what you're going to get there. But then don't forget about Bowser. Don't forget about Johnny Richardson. So there will be weapons around him. You would think, again, outside of Jalen Robinson, which it was a big question mark now, Matt Lee should be fully healthy, or at least close to healthy. He was banged up, so hopefully that helps our offensive line. You mentioned Bowser; he should obviously be back. Mark Anthony Richards, he was a little bit banged up. Hopefully he is good to go. So you should have these guys back, and I guess you don't. Well, you said that this is Mikey Keene's team now. What does that mean though? What do you think that means? Ball control, run the ball, don't make mistakes, make a throw here and there. Is that what a quote unquote Mikey Keene team is to you?
I think it's just more of the support he's getting from his teammates. They know that he's the quarterback number one right now, so they got all rallying around him. What is his style? So for what we've seen so far is just manage the game type stuff. Gus is not letting him throw it down the field 10 times a game. He takes 1 or 2 shots, but mostly it's short underneath stuff and rely on the running game. And now with Bowser back, that should help a lot. So that is his team now. I think has more to do with just the guys around him. Yeah.
Well, I think 2 things. He's got to make those. When he's got the throw to make, he's got to make the throw. And he's typically been relatively accurate. He's got a few that have gotten away from him, but when he's got the throw to make, he's got to make the throw. A, and then B. I mean, we saw him a little bit against the Cows use his legs and get out and get a couple of yards, get 5 or 6, get 7 or 8, even get a first down. If he can do something like that, keep the ball in some of those read plays, keep the defense honest. I think that's a step I'd love to see him take. He did it a little bit against the Cows. If he can do that again, I think that'd be fantastic. I do not want him outside the pocket. Anytime he takes the ball and rolls to the right, it feels like something bad happens. That ends up being a broken play and a play out of bounds, or end up just having to eat that one. So I'd like to see him kind of hang in the pocket a little bit longer. Maybe look and search for that receiver if it's not there. Maybe try to fall forward for a yard or 2, do something like that, versus scrambling out to the right, and then it becomes a fire drill at that point. So those are points I'd love to see, how he's prepared, how he's grown or developed over the last 3 or 4 weeks since the last time we saw him.
Yeah, he's really just limit the negative plays. Don't take sacks if you can throw it away. He's done a decent job at that. You mentioned him running out to the right, but a lot of the times maybe he's just flushed out that way, and then nobody's open and throws it away. I think he's done a good job of that most of the year. But I think he's gonna be okay, man. I really think he's gonna be okay. He's progressed, and we've seen him in clutch situations this year. When we need a drive, he's been able to do it. So even the Navy game, when it came down to it, we were moving the ball that whole drive until Gus decided to bring Gatewood in and slow things completely down.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't see any of that. But the East Carolina game, he had a big drive, converted a 4th down on. Late in the game against the Cows, he got down there and gave us some points. So I think he's going to be fine.
Defensively, we should have our full complement back again. Obviously, no Kalia Davis out for the year with a knee injury. No Bryson Armstrong out for the year with a knee injury. But I believe both Tatum Bethune and JJB will be back. Quadric Bullard did not play a lot in the second half against the Cows, but he's scheduled to talk to the media, I think, tomorrow. So you would think that means he's playing. Outside of that, I think that the D line and the linebacker core is pretty healthy. Cornerbacks seem to be pretty healthy. Mike, defense was really what carried us really towards that second half of the season. They played lights out a ton. Big Cat is playing allegedly. Nothing on his status, so he's not opting out. He'll be in the game. Like, how is this a defense must win this game for us? Do you think it's really the defense that has to set the tone for this one?
Definitely. The defense has been solid majority of the year. Even that first game against Boise, I know we were down 21-0, but we shut them completely down in the second half of that game, where we didn't even let them allow very many yards. And then they've had 2 disaster games on defense, right? The SMU game and the Cincinnati game, where we just couldn't stop anybody. The tackling looked horrible. Other than that, the defense has done their part, especially late here in the year when the offense wasn't putting up a lot of points. The defense was keeping us right in all of these games. We got to be able to do that. We got to limit the Gators to no more than 20 points. We can't let them get into the 30s, I don't think.
Yeah, well, what kind of? I mean, I don't know what kind of offense we're going to get out of Florida. Obviously, Emory Jones is going to play the full game. That hasn't happened. I know Anthony Richardson was out, but they were doing a lot of sort of that shuffling back and forth. And so we'll see. Again, you don't know who's playing, particularly on On the offensive side, a few guys have said they're not playing. It's hard to. I think they're one of their top receivers. I think Jacob Copeland is not playing. If I have that right, I think he's transferring. Then they have Justin Shorter, who's kind of their next receiver. I think he is playing. Running back Dameon Pierce, he had 12 touchdowns on the year, Mike. He's obviously a guy who finds the end zone. But it's hard to really know what you're going to get out of the offense. And Gus was asked that this week, like, hey, what do you expect? And he was kind of like, yeah, you know what? We don't really know. I guess, we assume they're going to do what they did throughout the year, and we're not sure who's going to be there. But, we'll get it all figured out by the time the second half comes around, or the second quarter comes around. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means and how that looks. So we're going to see an interesting Florida team, obviously under an interim coach, with Dan Mullen now being let go. So those are going to be kind of unknowns, and I guess we'll kind of have to figure it out, Mike. Do you think the Gators come prepared? Do you think they come? Well, maybe not prepared, the right word. Are they going to be motivated? Is this one of those, we're not motivated to play? Or do you think that they're going to be up to play this game?
They'll let us know after the game. If we beat them, then they weren't motivated. If they beat us, then they told us they were way better than us. They did it with all these guys not even starting. So they won't declare whether they were motivated until afterwards. The guy on there that has me a little concerned is Pierce, the running back. I've seen him before. He's a tough runner. He gets those short yardage things when you need him down by the goal line. He's tough to stop. But actually, Emory Jones leads the team in rushing. Mm-hmm. He's got almost 700 yards on the ground. So, he's going to take off with it. And the troubles we've had with running quarterbacks. That's the thing I'm most scared of, is just letting him, when a play breaks down, he just takes off for 12 yards and gets the first down. Yeah. That's going to frustrate me. But other than that, they're going to be missing a couple of big-name guys. Copeland, I didn't even see if Copeland said he's not playing, because he's in the portal, but so is Jones, or Jones is not technically in.
Jones is not technically in, as far as I know. Let me look up Copeland.
Copeland wasn't specific when he said it. When he announced that he was joining the portal, I still got the feeling he was going to play in this game. I don't know why.
And he might. According to, I'm reading an article, December 9th, Sports Illustrated, Jacob Copeland enters transfer portal.
Right.
So I don't know. He entered on December 9th, and he's already crystal balled to Maryland. So I don't know what that means.
Is there actually a rule that if you're in the transfer portal you can't play, or is that more than maybe a team policy?
I don't.
Because is there a reason why Emory Jones is not in it right now, knowing that he's going to be in it?
That's probably. I don't know if there's a. Well, yeah, I think once you're in the portal, right? I think you're in theory. You are now saying I'm open to talking to other schools, which I think. I don't know if that hurts your eligibility or something. I don't know if it's actually written in stone. It should be though, because it would make a ton of sense.
Right. I'm sure there's probably team policies. Maybe not all are the same, but if you enter the portal on my team, I don't think you're playing the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we'll see. We'll see which guys they actually do show up. I like Richardson. Would have really scared me if he was healthy and playing. I think this would have been a tough one for us.
Yeah.
The fact that he's out, I think that helps big time, because we know he can really run. Jones is still dangerous though, so we just gotta contain him. Make him beat you with his arm, because I've seen him throw plenty of interceptions. In fact, this year, 13 of them. So not the most careful guy with the ball. Put him in some bad situations, and the defense has got to go out there and attack him.
I'm curious what their defense will bring Florida. I mean, they're missing Diabate, their top linebacker, I believe, is not playing in this one. Mike, this is a team that gave up 52 points to Samford, who was 4-6. They gave up 42 by halftime to Samford. Again, not necessarily a fantastic team. So I'm curious to see if there's anything offensively that we can get going against these guys, because they were prone to give up a bunch of points to a team like Samford. So, can our offense actually make some hay, and what kind of defense is Florida going to bring with them? Are they going to bring the Samford defense, or are we going to get the team that played against Alabama earlier in the year?
Samford actually, you're going to laugh at me, has a good offense.
Yeah, I know, yeah, for sure.
I actually looked them up before that game. I was going to talk trash to my cousin, and I was going to tell him that they were going to lose to Samford. And I looked up Samford, and they were putting up like 40-something points a game. So they may even have a higher powered offense than we do.
Yeah.
But, I think this game's got to be played in the 20s, and I think we'll be okay. If this thing gets into a shootout, I don't know if I really like our chances too much. So keep it down early and put the drive together at the end to win it.
Are you ready to make an official prediction? Do you have? Are you going to save this for later in the week? Are you leaning one way prediction-wise, or are you still kind of figuring things out for yourself?
Now, if you want a prediction, I'll give you one right now. I didn't have. When else were we going to do it? I guess on the live show on Wednesday, right? Tracy's going to ask for a prediction. I'll give you one. I can give you one now, and I can change my mind in 2 days.
Perfect.
Or I got to give you the same one.
No, whatever you got to do. If you listen to both of these, then call Mike out. If you don't, that's on you.
Give me 24-21 Knights
Ooh.
on a game-winning field goal.
Oh, come on. What?
Daniel Obarski.
Jesus.
All right, fine. We're down 21-17, and Mikey Keenan comes down the field and leads the touchdown to Brandon Johnson. You like that one better?
Well, yeah,
score.
it does a lot better. I mean, I laugh, but I mean, special teams. I mean, we haven't really been a world beater there. That's one part of the game. You know, we cannot let our guard down and either give up a big return or have a muffed punt or, you know, have a punt block or miss a bunch of field goals. And that unit's been a rough patch with two teams on offense and defense. They're going to be missing some guys here and there. You'd think each side will have an opportunity. I for the love of God, please don't let us give it back on special teams.
We want to win this game on the offense, or with a defensive stop and not have to rely. If we're trotting out there for a game-winning kick, 37 yards, right hash mark. Yeah, we're down by 1.
Yeah.
You need to have it.
I'm probably trying to get a White Claw, just IV drip at that point, because I don't know that I feel good about that.
Yeah, man. It would be another great call out of Mark Daniels, though, right?
That would be.
Mike Hedge snapped it. Jimmy Frizzell held it. Javier Borlegui kicked it.
Alex Ward snapped it. Alan Curvin held it. I think Curvin's the holder. Daniel Obarski missed it. No, like we just can't have those guys. I mean, I'm all in if we want to make a play on special teams. If we want to do that fake return deal that we did, I'm all in on that. If we want to have, I know Johnny's been close on a few kickoff returns. Gosh, if we can get a spark on special teams, Mike, Ooh, that would be a huge lift, because obviously offensively we don't quite know what we're going to have yet. If we get an early spark special teams wise, a punt, you know, a punt block, a kickoff return, that could be really, really good.
We know it killed us earlier in the year, the Navy game with the block punt, but we've seen improvements as the season's gone on. Like you mentioned, Richardson's looked like he's had a few where he can break one. We haven't seen it yet. It would be great, especially early in the game. But I saw one early in the game today, right? Old Dominion returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown against Tulsa, and it's still lost. So it's going to take 60 minutes of football to beat these guys. One play, you'd rather it be a positive than a negative on special teams, because we know we've had plenty of negatives this year.
Yeah, that checks out. Yep.
You know, Obarski hits his extra points and his field goals when called upon, and you know, just don't give up any big special teams plays too. I think that's a win. Don't let them block a punt. Don't let them return a kick. If we break even on special teams, I'll take it.
Either way, I'm getting excited just thinking about this game. It's still, when you and I are talking on Monday, we still got 4 days to get there, but it's the last one for 9 months. It's our last opportunity. So wherever you're at, if you're at the stadium, if you're watching at home with your friends, if you're on the couch with your family, just enjoy the heck out of this one. It's a fun one. It's a good one. Again, it's a matchup we've been waiting for, Mike, really since 2017. I mean, obviously we want to play the Gators for a long time, but, you know, I think obviously, you know, it'd be fair to say we knew that they were a pretty solid team. And now, you know, the tables flipped a few years back. This is one that we've been waiting on for 5-6 years now, Mike. It's finally here. Not the way we wanted it, not when we wanted it, but it's finally here.
Yeah, it would have been better in 2018 when we went to the Fiesta Bowl. They could have easily put us in the peach again against Florida that year. It's what it should have been. And we have it scheduled for 2024 and 2030 or 2031. But here we are, sooner than expected. I can't wait to see all these Gator fans. And in case you do run into some Gator fans out there in Tampa on Thursday, I've got a couple of Gator facts. I got my top 5 Gator facts you may want to know.
Oh, my goodness. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the – you keep catching me off guard with these top – let me get the sounders ready. I got to get a heads up next time. All right, top 5 Gator facts. These are things to know about the Gators or know about their fans?
Know about the Gators, because, you know, these guys are going to come after us. They're going to see us out there, and they're going to start talking trash about UCF. You need to have some things to come back with. Facts. You know, I'm not just making things up here just to be funny. These are facts that they have, that they think they're so much better than us, but they're really not.
All right, let's roll. What do you got?
All right, so number 5. the highest draft pick in Florida Gator history, NFL draft pick, is number 3 overall. Well, guess what? UCF has also had the number 3 overall pick, Blake Bortles.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't beat us there, right?
Who
They've
was?
had 3 of them. That's true.
Who was that pick?
Steve Spurrier, actually, in 1967,
Wow.
was their first highest draft pick ever, number 3. Gerard Warren in 2001, and Wes Chandler in 1978. 3 times they've had the number 3 overall pick. Never had the number 1 pick. Never had the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
They've done just as good as UCF.
Been there, done that. Fair.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, their stadium, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium now, Florida Field. When they built it, only had 22,000 seats. That's half the size of the Bounce House. So when they want to make fun of our stadium, that's only, 15 years old now? When they first built theirs, it was a lot smaller too. So give us 100 years to catch up, and our stadium will be 300,000 seats like theirs.
Boom.
Number 3, did you know that they didn't win their first conference championship until 1991?
Wow.
They started playing football in 1906. They didn't win a conference until 1991, 85 years. Now, for the first couple of years, they were independent. Then they were in the SIAA and the Southern Conference. But they joined the SEC in 1932, friends. So 59 years it took them to win their first conference championship. We joined the conference for the first time in 2002. We won our first one in 2007. It took us 5 years. It took them 59. Okay,
All right. I love that. Yeah.
They were the doormats of the SEC for a long time. Just recently, in the last 20 years or so, they've become competitors.
Yeah.
All right. The number 2 thing you need to know, and they're going to try to use this on us. The season we didn't win a game, 2015. Didn't you guys not win any games in 2015?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we also did the same thing in 2004.
Mm.
And we also did the same thing, I think, in 1982. Where we've had 3 of them.
Yep.
But did you know that the Florida Gators have had 4 winless seasons in their history?
Wow.
More than us.
Clearly.
So in 1916, they went 0-5. In 1918, they went 0-1. That counts. They only played 1 game, but they lost.
It counts.
1946, they went 0-9. And in 1979, they went 0-10-1. 4 seasons in which they did not win a game. That's even worse than our 3 seasons.
Wow. That's another ding. You got another ding for that.
Things?
Yeah, no,
I didn't.
I did not know any of these things, no.
All right, so maybe people will know in case they get into arguments. The number 1 thing you need to know about the Gators, they have never done what we did just a couple years ago. 2017, undefeated season.
Mm-hmm.
The Florida Gators have never had one. So
even in the vaunted SIACCA, whatever conference was?
That's right.
Mm.
Nope, never. The best they ever had, the closest they came to it, 1995, they had an undefeated regular season, won the SEC championship game.
Wow.
And then lost to Nebraska, which I think it was the Fiesta Bowl.
That's a shame.
1995. Tommy Frazier's still running in that game. They could not stop him. They put up 62 points on him. I think he broke about 62 tackles on one play there, if you go Google it.
Seems like a lot of tackles.
So never in their history since 1906, when they started playing football, 115 years ago, never an undefeated season like we did in 2017. Those 5 facts, my friends, you keep those in your pocket. They want to start talking trash about our stadium, our people that we put in the NFL, our conference championships, winless seasons, and undefeated seasons. Now you got ammo to go right back at these jort-wearing Gators.
Wow. UCF Mike with the facts. I did not expect this top 5. This may be your best top 5 ever.
Thank you.
I mean, top 5 UCF Mike top 5s. Maybe next week we'll break that list out. This may be one of your best top 5s ever. Either way, it's going to be a fun time. So make sure you tune in Thursday. Be at the game if you're there. Be loud. I know. Still a sellout, Mike. We had the bowl guy on the live show on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Scott Glazer. I mean, sellout. Looks like they're expecting a big crowd. So hopefully, it sounded like he's assuming more Gator than Knight fans based on the way he referenced that. But we know you guys can be loud out there. So be loud, damn it.
They announced this thing as a sellout, and then they said they were going to open up some standing rooms. And then you go on Ticketmaster today, and they open up like a whole section on the upper corner of seats. So I don't know if they were originally planning to tarp those sections, and now they're opening up more. but there's still seats available. In fact, I still have a few extra seats. If you guys still need some, let me know by Thursday. If they're not spoken for, maybe I'll give some away here.
Whoa. Look at this, UCF Mike. What a nice guy. Speaking of giving things away, Mike, it's the holiday time. We do this every year, except for the year we don't. And that is, we like to give out gifts to everybody, at least people around UCF. I know you rummage through your house, you find the couch coins, and you go out, you do some shopping. And we found some gifts this year for some of our favorite UCF Knights. And we're happy to present those gifts tonight, Mike. I know you've got a full bag of gifts. I got a full bag of gifts here. I'm going to let you go first. You have a present that you want to give out. Holiday time, holiday cheer with the Suns. Give somebody a gift, Mike. Who do you want to give a gift to?
Gift number 1 goes to our friend Jake Hescock.
Oh, okay. Okay. That sounds like it's going to be just fine.
Yeah, you know the controversy that it was going around Major League Baseball earlier this year with the spider tack in the pitcher's hands?
Sure.
Causing higher spin rates. And Have you seen pictures of this spider tack stuff in use? It's almost impossible for you to make contact with the football and not catch it. So, poor Jake this year, I saw a few drops out of him.
Yeah.
0 catches on the season. 0.
Not...
And this is after last year. He had 10 with 3 touchdowns. The year before that, he had 9, I think, with a couple touchdowns. So I would have liked Jake to hang on to a couple of these. Maybe we get this in time for the bowl game. Maybe a early Christmas present, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can get one a couple days early and put it on his hands and maybe have a couple big catches here in the bowl game.
Okay, that's a good gift, Mike. I went shopping. I went to the shoe store. And I got our good friend Mikey Keene a pair of high tops, Mike, because I'm going to need Mikey to get a couple more inches out there. He's listed at 5'11", which means he's probably like 5'9". I feel like if we get Mikey to like 6 foot, maybe pushing 6'1", we might have something here. So I got a pair of high tops. They're they got a nice platform bottom there. Give them a couple extra inches of height. See over the linemen. They're nice and light and breathable, so we can still move around back there. But maybe get Mikey Keene just a couple more inches. So I'm hoping these laptop. I don't know what size he is. I got him a 9. So hopefully these will fit him.
You want him playing in lifts?
If we need to, Mike. We got to do what we got to do.
Lifts and issues?
Yeah, we'll put some lifts in there.
I wonder if that's ever been done. You get the quarterback another inch.
I feel like that would.
Yeah,
I feel like that probably wouldn't work.
I'm sure there's some advancements in lifts that you can put in there and make just as good as a shoe. I don't know.
Well, that'll be what I'm curious about. He's not going to grow, by the way. I don't believe. But he's 5'11", 180. He's obviously kind of a thinner guy, a skinny guy. He's able to get in the weight room this offseason, put some more bulk on him. What does he do from his throwing motion? What does he do to continue to take reps? I know we keep talking about bringing in this Bo Nix guy or this Adrian Martinez or the Incarnate Word guy, but we keep forgetting Mikey Keene is still here. It's still technically his job until someone takes it from him. Now, Gus is going to open this thing up to a competition between, Keene, Castellanos, and whoever they bring in. But it's still Mikey's job to lose right now. Let's see. I'm curious how this kid plays in this game this week, what that looks like and what he can kind of carry forward. And then what does he do in the offseason? How does he remake his body? How does he grow and get better? I think, we keep writing him off, but maybe we're foolish. So if he could somehow get like 2 inches, I'd feel a lot better about him. But I'm curious to see what his offseason looks like.
All right. Well, while you're making him grow, I've got another gift for him.
Okay, good.
And he can go to orientation over at Jimmy John's because they're known for their fast, quick delivery.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to do something about his windup.
Okay. Fair.
That Hideo Nomo windup he has before he delivers the pass has got to get shortened up next season. I know you don't want to tinker too much with these kids or whatever's successful, but that I've seen him take a shot and lose the ball. I've seen him, with that long delivery, passes get deflected and things like that. It's got to shorten up. Simple as that. Simple. He needs a new delivery. Maybe go to Jimmy John's. They're quick. You order them, they deliver it. They get their sandwich to my house probably faster than it takes for him to throw a pass. Let's go to that.
Yeah, Byron Leftwich thinks he has a long windup. That's for sure.
Let's get that fixed up, and if he grows another inch to go along with it, we may have ourselves a quarterback of the future here.
All right. Well, Mike, while I was at the shoe store, I also picked up a pair for Johnny Richardson. I picked up a pair of the Nike Mags. Those are the self-lacing shoes, Mike, the ones that self-lace, keep you tight, because Johnny fell down a lot this year. I don't know if his shoes were untied. I don't know if he just, they weren't tight enough. I'm not sure what the issue is, but we're going to get Johnny a pair of like self-lacing, these shoes that just kind of like just absorb your foot like a vacuum bag. Get those on Johnny's feet so that next year he's not losing his footing, he's not falling off the ground. So we got to get Johnny some shoes. Tight laces, really good fit. So I got Johnny some nice sneaks and some nice cleats. Hopefully he'll wear them well, and he'll stay on his feet next year.
Yeah, actually, I had something very similar. I was going to just add it on maybe to Johnny's, to just longer spikes on his cleats for the same exact reason.
Yeah.
Maybe I know some of those cleats, you just screw them on and off. So how about a little longer set? Maybe get them a little better footing on the grass out there.
Yeah, that works.
All right. I've got our man T-Will.
Oh.
Get him a Christmas gift. You know what I'm getting for him? A hype man for his raps.
Okay.
We've seen him do some freestyling with the recruits in town. The players love it. The players love playing for this guy. You see the energy on the sideline. But for his raps, I think he needs a hype man on the side, like Puffy was to Biggie. Somebody to kind of keep the raps going. Mm-hmm. Maybe even add in a few beats, because as good as his freestyle is, he may need some beats. Maybe he needs to call our friends that were over at Lyrics and Loops.
Oh,
and come up with a couple new beats.
Wow, all right.
For T-Will next season.
I forgot we were doing those. Okay, yeah. I know a guy. I can hook him up. I can hook him up. Yeah. All right. That's a good one, Mike. While I was out, I actually got I got something for Isaiah Bowser. I actually bought him that the Bowser, the character from Nintendo, that shell he wears. I actually bought him that shell. I'm gonna need Isaiah Bowser to actually wear Bowser's shell to keep himself from getting injured next season if he comes back to UCF. I need some sort of armor over him. And, Bowser had that thing on his back where he just like you got in there and he just started bowling people over. I think that's what we need to get Isaiah Bowser. So we got him the Bowser shell. So that he maybe can bounce off guys next year and maybe stay a little healthier, get some protection out
there. The guy was an animal for us all year when he was playing. When he stays healthy and if he needs a shell to do it, then fine. That's fine with me. But I want to see him out there on the field, and hopefully we get another good look at him on Thursday. He's been a very good player, man. Bowser, if we can have him for another year, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I got Daniel Obarski.
Oh, good. Tough to shop for. He's really tough to shop for. Yeah, earplugs are good. Those are good.
The block out the numbskulls like us talking about him all the time. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to hear any of that. In fact, he's probably in his own head now at this point. I don't know if you can't make earplugs for that, for what goes on in your own head. But at least if I got him the plugs, he won't have to hear it from us.
Yeah.
Right? And any booze in case if he misses a kick.
Okay. I also I picked up something for Joey Gatewood while I was out, Mike. Some receiver gloves, because I think let's just all make this. Let's just make this official. Let's get Joey in the tight end spot. Let's get him out there catching some routes over the middle. I don't know if this quarterback thing is going to work out. So I got him some receiver gloves. He can go out in the offseason and break those bad boys in. Start catching some passes off the jugs machine. Maybe if Mikey's working on his release, Joey can be there as the guy who catches for him. So got Joey Gatewood some really nice receiving gloves. I think he's going to like them.
I think he was, he's going to make the transition to tight end. I think that's obvious. Right now, he's a guy at quarterback because we need guys at quarterback.
He's a guy. Yep.
Right? If anything would happen to Mikey in this game, he'd probably be in. He'd be playing
Parker Navarro would like a word with you.
Yeah, I know Parker has done a great job down by the goal line, but I don't know who Gus brings in first if it was for a rest of the game situation. Maybe Parker gets in there. But, I think the future for this kid is a tight end receiver. We know he's an athlete, and he's a big kid. So he may be able to start utilizing the tight ends a little bit more if he's out there.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple more. How many you got?
1, 2. I got like 3 or 4. I can go here.
I think deep in the bag here. I got Mark Anthony Richards. I got him a name tag because people still don't know what this guy's name is, and he had to come out and say a lot of people think his last name is Anthony Richards. And it's just Richards, right? His first name is Mark Anthony, not Anthony. So
right.
I'll get him a name tag.
I'm glad you cleared that
I
up.
know he saw some playing time this year, especially when Bowser went down later in the year. But people are really going to get to know this kid's name. I think once he starts figuring out the picking up the blitzes and blocking and all that stuff, the other things that go along with being a good running back, not just carrying the ball, I think we're going to see a lot more of this guy the next couple of years. So people are going to learn his name whether they like it or not. But for now, get them a name tag so they can see it spelled out.
It's Mark with a K too, not Mark with a C. Mark with a K and a hyphen. So that's a really good gift, Mike. Our esteemed athletic director Terry Mohajer, he's probably got a lot of things, Mike, but I got him a really good gift. You know what I got, Timo?
Ooh, can't wait to hear.
I got him a pair of boxing gloves. I mean, you saw him on the sidelines when he gets pumped up and he's pumping his fist and he's getting all riled up. And let's get some boxing gloves out of him. I think he might be able to get in the ring. Maybe, I'm not saying Jake Paul's in his future, but you saw Timo throwing those rights and those lefts after the interception against Boise. So I got Timo some boxing gloves. Let's see what he can do in a ring with those things.
Well, Johnny Dawkins has some that he always comes out with.
Yeah.
When he's hyping up the team, maybe we can borrow those. Well, you know what would be cool too? You get like a big heavy bag on the sidelines for him. I mean, after a big play,
sure.
The team will just start pounding on the bag.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? Maybe next Christmas. I don't know. Well, I mean, let's just embrace. I mean, Timo, I feel like he's got the form. He's throwing some rights, some lefts, some combos, a couple of haymakers. Let's just maybe get him in some shape. Get him in front of a heavy bag.
What about those the inflatable things that fall back when you hit them and they bounce back up? That would be some good entertaining stuff on the sideline.
I could do it.
You see Timo after every touchdown.
It could be our new turnover chain. You know what I mean? You get an interception, you go over and take a couple of rounds in the heavy bag. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we probably have guys break their hands.
Or hell, you take a couple rounds with Timo, right? He's got that head wrap on thing. He's just on the sidelines. You get an INT, you got to take two. You got to take two from Timo or something.
Timo's going to take half the team out.
What are you going to do? I mean, we're already injured to begin with. We're already injured. What's the worst that could happen?
But he is enthusiastic on the sidelines. You love to see it out of the guys. It just shows that he cares for the programs and he wants us to be successful. So I like seeing it. He hasn't done anything to embarrass us on the sideline. You don't see him going after the refs or anything like that. So hopefully that stays that way.
Yeah.
But some heavy bag of some boxing gloves, that could be some fun.
All right.
I only got one more thing here in my bag. So
all right.
Goes out to Quadric Bullard.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I got him a shock collar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have somebody watching him. If he gets within 10 feet of Malzahn, he got to get shocked. There's no way that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it happen before where a coach gets run over by his own guy, not during a play. I mean, you've seen that. The guys fall off onto the sideline making a tackle or something. This is in a celebration running from the goal line to Malzahn was probably at like the 35 and go straight into his leg and break the guy's leg. Had him up on a pedestal for the rest of the year. Quadric Bullard, shock collar, collision course.
Yeah.
And you need somebody watching him at all times. And if he gets anywhere near Malzahn, he gets buzzed.
That makes sense. I actually got Malzahn. I have two gifts from Malzahn. One, I got him a hoverboard so he can get away from those guys. I mean, he's not as fast as those guys. He needs to be able to peel out in a heartbeat. So I got him a hoverboard so he can maybe dodge those and get out in a hurry. And then I also got him some Just for Men, Mike. Let's get that hair dyed back. Gray-haired Gus is okay. He's distinguished. But something about brown-haired Gus, I mean, he looked a little bit happier. He looked a little bit fresh, a little rejuvenated. I think most old guys come to Florida and start dyeing their hair, not the other way around. So I got Gus some Just for Men. Let's get some color back in that mop upstairs.
Really, I like the way it's looking.
I need a little more color. I'm not saying he's got to go full on jet black here. Just a little bit more color in that thing. The silver fox thing just isn't working for me.
No, I like the white hair.
Yeah.
I think it looks good. I think he looks more authentic that way. He does look older. Somebody did put a picture of him the day he signed.
Yes, I know. That's what made me think of this. Yes. Yeah.
But sometimes the older look is, it's not bad for a head football coach. I mean, he's got experience. He knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. I kind of like it. I think he looks good with the natural hair. In fact, when I start growing white hairs, I have a few sprouting out here and there. I already told my wife I'm not dyeing my hair. She wants me to. No, she can't think of me with a white head of hair, but it's happening. Eventually, it's going to happen, and I'm going to rock it.
Okay.
Salt and pepper for a couple years.
Salt and pepper, Mike.
It's going to be full white.
Salt and pepper Mike. All right, I got 3 more gifts. I got Jalen Robinson a map, so when he gets to his new school, he can get his way around campus. I got Ryan O'Keefe some ice packs because my guy gets like 95 targets a game. He's going to need those. And last but not least, Mike, Trayvon Morris Brash, an Uber gift card as my holiday gift, Mike. Those are the Sons of UCF Christmas gifts. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of these guys could use some of these things.
Yeah.
And if we're not running into our coach and we're taking Ubers, I think the season could have been a lot better than even it was.
Could have been a lot better, Mike. We are always in the giving mood. People need to hear things, Mike. And I think they need to hear a little bit more about paper and lace because this brand is the buzz of the UCF sports scene. We keep getting multiple tweets asking us when that paper and lace NIL money is going to come funneling through. I don't know if we have an athlete that's a good representative for a paper and lace on the UCF roster, but we will maybe we will look high and low for that, Mike. But why don't you tell the good folks out there more about what paper and lace is and what they can do for them?
Yeah, I tell you what, she is swamped with business right now, so paper and lace is doing just fine. It is a company that's going to provide you with the best wedding invitations you can even imagine. Probably things you didn't think were even possible. Go on her website and check out the stuff she's already done. You'll be impressed, just as impressed as I am. Give her a call, 954-597-6426. That's my sister, Michelle. You give her a call. You tell her you heard it on the Sons of UCF. You get 10% off your first order. And I know some of you guys are going to get married soon. Like I said, Christmas is right around the corner. I bet you there's somebody listening to the show right now that already has the ring purchased and is ready to get down on the knee this week between now and New Year's. And when you guys set the date, come back, paper and lace, go to check out their website, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, Paper and Lace is your one-stop shop. And let them know Sons of UCF sent you. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear about us. And congrats on that engagement in advance. Mike and I are very happy for you. If you want us to come to your wedding, just let us know.
Today is actually your 18th wedding anniversary.
Is that right? Wow. Now you tell me, Mike. This is information I could have used hours ago. Thank you.
Yeah, look at you found a winner, right? She's not even giving you any crap for doing a podcast on your anniversary, or
I think she's asleep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's asleep. So I'm not sure who's really winning this one here, but yeah, very very lovely. My wife and I, we met at UCF. She's a UCF grad as well. For the old school listeners of the show, she is the announcer girl. She used to do some of the sounders here. She used to do some segments with us. So a very happy anniversary to my wife, Stephanie.
18 years is a long time, man.
Some of the 15 best years of my life, Mike.
I know I was setting you up and up.
I knew you were. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is UCF head football coach Gus Malzahn, and you're listening to the Future of UCF podcasting with Adam and Mike on the Sons of UCF. Boom.
While the college season has ended, and the regular season at least has ended, we have our winner. Did we ever get in touch with the winner, Mike, for the pool tracker pool? I know it was SBJ 43. Did we ever get any contact with him or her? I think we were still in debate about that.
Yeah, remember I told you it was Shannon, and I still wasn't sure if it was a he or a she.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have his contact information. I have his address. I haven't sent my hat, and I haven't even given you the address to send the hoodie.
Yeah.
So we're a little delayed here, but he will get it. We'll
Okay.
get the stuff. I always forget.
Yeah.
Send it out. I'm gonna send you his address when we're done doing this show, so
right.
you'll have it for the hoodie.
All right.
And then, but yes, we do have those prizes, and now we have prizes for this thing too, right?
Yeah, so it's the college bowl pick'em that a lot of people. But I was surprised. I went in the other day. You would send me a text and said a lot of people are in there, and I went in there, and there was like 60 or 70 people in that thing. I don't even know. So thanks for everybody who got in there. Obviously, this is kind of a straight up deal. We do want to do point spreads and all that stuff because some people probably set this thing one time and don't come back, and there's injuries, all this other stuff, and so we didn't want to keep lines moving. Confidence picks with the numbers. That's a lot of math. I don't do math very well, so. We went straight up picks, Mike, through, I guess, the first, 4 or 5 days. We have 5 people tied at first place with a 7-3 record. So there's 5 of you at 7-3 right now. In second place, 6-4, there's a handful of people, including J.P. Gilbert, Jackson Lyon, Brian Peterson, and you, Mr. UCF. Mike, you were 6-4. And then coming up behind that are the 5-5ers. That includes UCF Probs, Brando Nitro, our good friend Mario, and myself at 5-5. I will tell you, I started off 1-5. So I am on a 4-game heater there, Mike. So still anybody's race here early in the bowl pick'em challenge so far, but so far really good, I guess, turnout from everybody. And if you can hold on and get the win, we got a nice prize for you.
That's right. Yeah, I got off to a rough start too. I think it was 1-3 to start this thing. I've gone 5-1 since. Only one game out of the elite so far. Very early. Talking 10 games in, and there's how many? 42 of these, 43 of these things. So long way to go. I appreciate all these people that have joined this pool. A lot of names look familiar. Some names I've never seen before, which is cool. We got a guy named the Sun's Son. I think that's the coolest name in there. I think that's Laz. Maybe that's
Laz Lopez, I think.
L. Lopez.
Yeah.
So Jay Blow's in it here too. I see Jay Blow in there. 387.
I know you're a big fan of Jay Blow. I know you are.
How about the guy that won the whole thing? Is he in this thing too?
I did not.
This JB?
I think he's in there. Yeah, I thought I saw him in there. There's so many people. I was trying to go through the list, and some people didn't change their name, and it just has like J. Jones, and I don't know what that is. So some of it's hard to figure out. But a lot of familiar names in there. No Trace Trelka, by the way.
Robert.
Trace, where are you, buddy?
Yeah, where is Trace? Did he get that disheartened during the season with his losing record? He didn't want to be further embarrassed.
I don't know.
Losing again in this thing. And then you got guys like Robert, our guy, 2 letters, 2 words. He's in there, but he only picked one game. He's 0-1. So maybe he didn't fill it out properly. So, good luck to whoever is going to win this thing. You got a cool prize for it, right?
Yeah.
That's secured.
It's secured. I have it already. Yeah, it is in my possession. That we will send out to the winner, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, we enjoy these little challenges and contests. Anytime we can find ways for all to hang out and have excuses to watch some of these bowl games. There's a lot of them, and the Myrtle Beach Bowl was on today, Mike. Who knew? So there's a lot of bowl games on. They're going to pick up obviously here in the next couple of days. So it's fun to have a little friendly trash talk. And I don't see any Banneret guys. I didn't see Elo in there. I didn't see Stat Boy Drew in there. So I think. And maybe we scared them off after, although they beat us. So I'm not sure how we scared them off after the season-long contest. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people don't care about these bowl games. I know I don't. I haven't. If I'm telling you honestly right now, I have not watched 1 second of any of the first 10 games. The only reason I know I'm 6-4 is just because I checked the website today.
I haven't watched
anything.
Full one. It's been on in my house over the weekend. But I haven't watched any meaningful amount of it, no. I saw some of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Live Bowl. That was about it.
Yeah, I saw while scrolling through Twitter today, that's how I knew that Old Dominion scored a touchdown on the opening kickoff return, just because I saw the highlight as I was scrolling down. Mm-hmm. And then I checked the score later, and I saw that Tulsa had won. So yeah. Other than that, I haven't watched any of it. Not the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, not the Bahamas Bowl, not the Boca Bowl. The last couple of years, I've only watched the one bowl game that's the one that UCF plays in. All the other ones I don't watch. I've even boycotted the playoffs the last few years. This year, I may have to tune into the Cincinnati-Alabama game. No.
Mike will break his long-standing tradition and break his curse. I know you had another curse that you put out there on the message board. You got some really interesting comments, Mike. Do you want to bring it to the audience here about what your dilemma is with a piece of merchandise you own?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it on this show before. I bought the Mackenzie Milton jersey after the 2017 season. Perfect season. I got the Peach Bowl patch put on there. It looks great. I wore it for the opening game the next year, the first game of Heupel. We destroy UConn. I'm thinking this is a lucky jersey. The next time I wear it is later in that season when we play the Cows and he breaks his leg. Then I think it's a cursed jersey. I try not to use it too much. So I was like, one day I said, the team's wearing white. I'm going to wear white. It's a big game. I put it on. It was the Pittsburgh game. We know how that one ended. And then the next time I wore it was this year for the Louisville game, and we know how that one ended. So is this jersey cursed?
No.
Do I need to donate this jersey to somebody? Do I need to get rid of it?
Nope. I've got the perfect idea, Mike. I've got the perfect plan. We have a nice platform here. I say we get that jersey, somehow get it signed by Mackenzie, and you hang that bad boy up and frame it.
There you go.
We think we have a roundabout way. We know some people who know some people who may know some people. We may be able to get that in front of Mackenzie in some form or fashion. Maybe get him to sign it for you, And I've got my Dante jersey behind me in the live show. Maybe you'll have the Mackenzie jersey. We'll have them all covered.
That would be a very cool one. There's not many spots in this house my wife's going to let me hang it. And here in the garage is probably one.
There you go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, that would be cool. But I just want to know, should I wear it for the Gator game? Because there's a couple lines of thinking here. Yeah, it's cursed, but I have a chance to go back and wear it in the spot where the curse began, in Tampa, to switch everything completely the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And now Mackenzie's back with the program. His time over at FSU is gone. Dylan Gabriel's now out of here. Mackenzie's back. Is it time to break it out? Do I take the chance against the Gators, or do I never wear this thing again? Because if I wear it and we beat the Gators, all of a sudden it's a lucky jersey again.
It is, yeah.
Right?
Well, if we beat the Gators, it's a lucky jersey. If we lose, it's what you thought it was, right? So, it hasn't really changed much. I'm in the same boat. Not to change your subject, I had the same dilemma. So I think I shared this on the show as well. I have been to 2 of the last 4 bowl games. I did not go to the Peach Bowl. That was a win. I went to the Fiesta Bowl. That was a loss. Then I did not go to the Gasparilla Bowl. That was a win. I went to the Boca Bowl. That was a loss. So I'm sitting this one out this year in hopes that I break the bowl game curse of when I'm there, they lose. So maybe my curse not being there, you wearing the jersey, something's got to give, Mike.
We got to find the right mix of all these things to come together.
Yeah.
Because really we know that the play on the field really means nothing unless we're wearing what we're supposed to be wearing, we're sitting where we're supposed to be sitting, or we're watching the game the way we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the players on the field really have no impact on the game.
Yeah.
It's really more of us. So, I'll figure it out. It's going to be cold in Tampa anyway. So even if I wear the jersey, I'm going to put a hoodie on top of it. You're not going to see the jersey, but I'll still be wearing it. So I don't know.
Ooh, loophole.
Does that factor?
Loophole. Yeah, that's a loophole. Interesting. Right, because if we lose, do you blame the hoodie or do you blame the jersey?
Oof.
Wear a hoodie. Do you have a hoodie that we haven't lost in yet?
This hoodie, I believe I brought to the Peach Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black UCF hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm pretty sure I have to go check the pictures. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wore it to the Peach Bowl.
Okay.
So that could be a good luck.
Okay.
That with the Mackenzie jersey, does it even each other out?
Yeah, you have to cancel it out at that point.
The good luck of the hoodie overpower the bad luck of the jersey.
Yeah. Well, the hoodie is what's being displayed. I mean, that's what the players can see, right? And so clearly the gods are going to go, oh, he's got the hoodie on. We're good. All right, let's let this pass go through, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen, clearly.
Well, there are people that break down the team's uniforms and what our record is when we wear black helmets and what our record is when we wear white jerseys and black pants, and they factor all those things in together. I need to start keeping track of what our record is when I wear the Mackenzie jersey paired with the black hoodie as opposed to the gold hoodie. I mean, there's a lot of things to factor in.
I'm exhausted. I still say we find a way to get that thing signed for you. We know a bunch of people. There's got to be a way we can figure out how to do that for you. We get that thing signed, and then you retire it. You hang it up. You keep it in your house someplace. You just break it out for the live show. You hide it the other 50 days of the year, and that's it.
All right, it sounds nice to me. So
let's work on that.
Have your people talk to Mackenzie people and get this thing figured out.
I'm sure there's an NIL deal to be had here, Mike. But let's get into our cow of the week. So if you're new, each week we find something that did something dumb, foolish, made us laugh, whatever the case might be, and we make fun of them, and that's what we do, Mike. So you've said you've got a good one. I don't know what it is. I'm interested to hear. Usually you haven't prepared as heavily for this portion of the proceeding, so you have something. I'm really excited. So floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, well, this just happened not long before the recording of this show.
Okay, all right.
7 o'clock today. And the cow this week is me.
Oh.
I am the cow. And you mentioned it. We do this because people do something that's dumb. Oh, I did something dumb. Now, every year we schedule around this time a reservation to take pictures with Santa Claus. I've learned my lesson in years past, just showing up to the mall and getting in line. I've been in that line for 3 hours before. I don't do that anymore. The last couple of years, I reserve my thing online. I walk straight up to Santa Claus. We take our picture. We get the heck out of there, right? We go, now that we moved to Fort Lauderdale, we've been going to the Coral Ridge Mall. We used to go to Coral Springs Mall every year. Same Santa and all the pictures. We went to Coral Ridge last year, COVID, all that stuff. I'm going to go back there again this year. It's close to the house, right? I go online the other day, and Coral Ridge Mall, and I see that they're actually allowing dogs to take pictures with Santa Claus. And my wife went wild because she was going to go to PetSmart or Petco or whatever place they were going to reserve it. I said, don't do that. Look, the mall is letting us bring the dog to the mall and take pictures with Santa. We killed 2 birds, 1 stone. We don't have to go 2 different times. She loved it. So make the reservation 7 o'clock today. I've had this thing for 2 weeks. I paid in advance like $25 towards the pictures and everything.
Okay.
Girls, I come home today. They're showered. They're ready to go. They're curling their hair. They got their nice dresses on. Everything's great. We get to the mall. Santa's not there. Santa's not there. The people that run the picture thing is not there. The whole stage is set up, but there's nobody to take a picture with. I'm looking at the signs. They say they're not even open that day. I said, this is impossible. I just got an email from them this morning that confirmed my 7 o'clock appointment for today. Date right, Coral Ridge Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out there's another Coral Ridge Mall in Iowa that I had booked my pictures for. And I was not going to make it about 20 hours away in about 5 minutes. So I am the cow of the week, booking my Santa pictures. Now I'm only a couple days before Christmas, and we're going to have to go to the mall or something tomorrow because this is tradition in this house. We don't have a picture with Santa yet, and it's all my fault. So I am the cow of the week.
So speaking of dogs, you're in the dog house? Is that what's going on right now?
No, my wife just kind of laughed. I was surprised.
Okay.
She took it so well. And the girls didn't really care either. So not only does this mall not take pictures at 7 o'clock today, they don't allow dogs. They don't even allow dogs in the mall. I brought my dog right through the mall. And I saw that sign on the way out. Oh, he's not even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So cow of the week stuff for sure.
Wow.
You didn't see that one coming.
I did not see that one coming. I feel like
the Coral Ridge Mall, it's the website, coralridgemall.com. This one is mycoralridgemall.com or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I swear I checked the address. But
honest mistake. I feel like there's a more efficient way to do this. Can't you just hire some guy to come to your house and take pictures with you guys? Isn't there, or do you have to go to a mall? Is that how this works?
Your way sounds a little creepier. You can hire a Santa Claus to come to the house. I've looked into that before.
That does sound great. Now that you said it that way, hell yeah.
But for like Christmas Eve, we've thought about having guys, and we've talked to a couple guys the last couple of years that we're going to do it. But then we kind of like, we're better off just not, because you don't really know who these people are, right?
Yeah.
You don't want them coming to your house on Christmas Eve. But we do have a Santa outfit here.
Hell yeah. Okay.
That we've had in the family, and we've had various uncles and cousins dress up as Santa Claus. When the girls were younger, it was a lot cooler. Now that they're older, they know exactly who the person is in there. But my sister has a 1-year-old. She'd probably get a kick of it. I might actually have to dress up as Santa at some point on Friday night.
Well, just take the pictures then.
There's that. But no, it's not the same. You don't understand. We would go into the same mall for years. I have 9 pictures with Santa hanging on my wall right now.
Seems like a lot. 8
of them are the same exact Santa Claus.
How long is this tradition going to go on for? At some point, your girls are going to be, older.
I figure they're going to just go to the mall on their own and take the pictures and give it to me as a Christmas gift.
Okay.
But
let's just, dude, we have some of the best people. Like, I'm sure Cost Seg Advisor could Photoshop you a family photo with Santa in about a minute and a half. You send Cost Seg Advisor some headshots, you're going to have a full-on family photo before you even can check your Twitter account again.
Yeah, even think about that.
I'm just telling you.
So
you
I could just take a picture with them, me in the Santa outfit, and then just Photoshop the real Santa on top of my.
You've got all of Sun's army here at your disposal. I mean, there's got to be something you can do. I don't know. Iowa. So did someone? Iowa. Have you been to Iowa? I mean, is it something you're gonna check out?
And I didn't even realize it until I'm there and I see that nobody. I'm looking for a phone number to call. I go to the email. I look, and it says, the Santa booth is set up right in front of the J.C. Penney. I said, J.C. Penney, are they even still around? How old is this website? Who stole my money? Is my other question.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Somebody's got $25 off. Man.
Somebody was in line in Iowa, and they're like, Mike, is there a Mike here? And he's like, I'm Mike.
7 o'clock no-show.
All right. And some guy just got free Santa pictures thanks to the UCF Mike family. Way to go. That's proud of you. Well, actually, this is actually going to stay in the family anyway for you, my buddy, because my cow of the week is also going to be really for you. And that is your New York Football Giants. Or my cow of the week, Mike. They played my Cowboys this weekend, 21-6 win for the Cowboys. Giants now 4-10. Daniel Jones shut down. Season summarily over. Joe Judge, we hardly knew you. But what's interesting about it is this weekend, Mike, the Giants decided that this was the right time. They've got a loyal fan base. People are always there to support them. It was Fan Appreciation Day at MetLife Stadium, Mike. Did you know it was Fan Appreciation Day?
I heard the story earlier today.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you heard it then. So the Giants decided that as a token of their appreciation for their fans, they were going to give out a free medium Pepsi to basically all season ticket holders. So if you're a season ticket holder, you show up at MetLife Stadium for being a loyal Giants fan, free medium Pepsi. All right? Not just like a bottle. It's in a cup with ice, by the way. So you're not really getting a medium. But either way, free medium Pepsi, Mike. So first things first. We couldn't splurge for the large, you think? Had to be the medium?
Yeah. This is one of the cheapest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, couldn't spring for the large.
You're better off just not giving away anything.
That probably punches in the face is what you should give away. Then, if that's not enough, so free medium Pepsi. Then people started going to get their free soda, because why the heck not? To find out that it doesn't matter how many season tickets you own, you only get one per account. So, for example, if my family of 4 has season tickets, I don't get 4 sodas. I only get 1. So not only did basically half the people in your party potentially not get a soda, you got a free medium soda in a cup with some ice in it. Giants fans, thanks for your help this year. Mike,
Man,
what are we doing? What are we doing over there?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. I don't know what they're doing on the field. I don't know what they're doing now with the fans. It's been bad. We're the new Browns, basically. We're the new Lions of the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, 10 losses again. You thought Judge was going to maybe do something when he came in. He said all the right things in the press conference. Obviously, that means nothing. Last year, they started playing better towards the end of the season. You thought maybe they'd carry that over to this year. Nope. The injuries have piled up. They reached for Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley's been a big disappointment with the injuries. The whole team needs to be revamped. New coach, new general manager, new quarterback, new everything. And maybe there'll be something in a couple years. But $6. How many ounces is this Coke?
It's a medium, so it's probably what 12 maybe.
Sheesh.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Real quick, this isn't just a decision made by one guy. This is a group of people who are in a room. And they're like, okay, Fan Appreciation Day. Let's get some ideas working here, people. What do you guys think? And someone's like, what about a hat? No, we don't do hats this year. What about a T-shirt? No, we can't do T-shirts. We need just the right. How about a Pepsi? Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. We'll give a Pepsi as a sponsor. Let's give away a large. Fred. Yeah. We can't give away the large. What do you mean? I mean, the overhead on the cups. We got to do a medium. You know what? You got a good point. Let's do mediums. Fred, yeah. Do we want to give one to everybody? That's a lot of Pepsi. Yeah, that's a good point. How do we limit that? Okay, let's do that. This was a room full of people who decided this decision. I'm like, that's just mind-boggling.
It's not really that mind-boggling if you see what the Giants have been doing for the last couple of years. It's kind of right on schedule with everything else. So I got a laugh out of it. I wasn't surprised by it.
Yeah.
And, whatever. So it's me as a cow and the Giants as a cow all in 1 weekend. This is a rough one.
It is a rough one. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're both deserved. I can't really argue with either one of them not being cow of the week. I don't even know who that will be, Mike. But here's what I do know. This episode's coming to an end, and that's fantastic. But what's not coming to an end is the live show. We're going to be on Wednesday evening. So if you're listening to this sometime on Tuesday or even sometime Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, 8 p.m., live show, Mike, Trace, myself, we will be there. I don't know who we'll have on. Trace is always finding some crazy guests. We had some really good guests last week. Don't know who we have this week. I think maybe we have a Florida Gator insider kind of guy. So that gentleman or lady may be joining us. So don't forget Wednesday night special edition, and we'll take you up until kickoff on Thursday. We'll get you all ready because you'll have our show to listen to. You'll have the live show replay. You'll have plenty of stuff to do, Mike. And then next week we will come back. Even though it's a holiday week, we will do at least a quick recap of the game. We'll do our breakdowns as usual. And then we'll all enjoy the holiday together, Mike. So action-packed, just a couple more days here before the game, and I know I'm excited.
I'm very excited for this game for many reasons, and I can't wait to kick off, man. This is it. This is a way to end this season on a big positive note, and against the Gators would make me more happy to beat any other team in this country.
Well, we can't wait. I'm excited. Mike's excited. We're just gonna we gotta go do something. Mike's gonna go take some pictures. So until then, everybody have a great week. Good night.
And as my wife's been doing for the last 2 months with my credit cards, charge on.
Wow. You've been saving that one for the entire show? You waited an hour and 45 and just had that in the holster? That's what was going on there? Wait till I can't believe they missed that prank phone call, too. You're going to miss that. All right. See you guys.